keeping her family in prayer as they go through this time of loss. I also have a card from Sister Brathwaite. It reads, "A simple word of thanks is being sent to you to tell you you're appreciated for everything you do." From Sister Brathwaite. I have a quote that reads, "The secret of happiness you see is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less." I'll read it again. "The secret of happiness you see is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less." At this time, I'd like to welcome Sister Francois for the first reading.
Happy Sabbath. To our Goshen members, Pastor Daley, we have a first reading. It is for Sister Veronica Abori. Sister Veronica Abori is asking for her transfer of membership from the Yonkers SDA Church in Yonkers, New York, to the Goshen Temple of Seventh-day Adventists. This is the first reading. Sister Veronica has been traveling. She'll be traveling for quite some time, but she is ready to become a member of this family. God bless you. I'm going to ask now for Sister Claudine Brown to come up. She is our stewardship leader, and she has some information to pass on to the members. Thank you.
Good morning, church. Happy Sabbath. So I'm here on behalf of the Stewardship Department just to do a short presentation. I'm hoping we do not make this longer than 9 minutes because we're also stewards of time. All right, so the Stewardship Department would like to invite us all to change the way we customarily look at stewardship. So when we think stewardship, what's the first thing we think about? Thank you very much, money. But the reminder, the focus that we want to emphasize for this year is that stewardship is not just about money. Stewardship is about who we are and what we have. All that we are and all that we have. Because God has given us, He owns everything that we are and everything that we have. Psalm 24 verse 1 in the New Living Translation says, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The world and all its people belong to Him." He owns everything. So the goal is to remind us that stewardship is not just about money. Again, when you hear stewardship, I want you to call to mind that I am a steward of, a manager of, put in trust of everything. Not just my everything, but God's everything, which is my everything. So you usually hear about the 4 T's, right? I'm going to reemphasize those for you, and I want you to bear those in mind. It's my time, my talents, my temple, and my treasure. So when we hear stewardship, we usually just default to treasure. No, stewardship is about my time, my talent, my temple, and my treasure. God has given me all of those, and He has put me in charge of those to use those to His best good. All right, so as we let this concept sink in the days to come, I want you to focus on these things as you go from day to day, right? So on any given day, am I being a good steward of my time? Am I being a good steward of my temple? Am I being a good steward of the talent that God has vested with me? And am I being a good steward of my treasure? Now, if you're like me, during COVID, you probably weren't as good to your temple as you should have been. Some people were very good to their temple, but some were not, right? So in the weeks to come, think about how you can change that dynamic, how you can change being a better steward of your time, your talent, your temple, and your treasure. And we're going to ask you to look out for instances of God's faithfulness as you are a better steward, right? So maybe you can come and share with us on a Sabbath morning this week I devoted more time to spending time with God, and I saw this come out of spending more time with God. This week, I used the gift that God has given me to interact with people, to witness, to share that talent, and I've seen souls want to find out more about what God is doing for me, and also to have God do the same thing in their lives. So remember, stewardship, time, talent, temple, treasure. I want us to bear those in mind. And then also, so you may have gotten this card. Has everybody received this card from the ushers? Yes? No? If you haven't received one, please raise your hand. Hi. All right, so one side of the card says, square up with God, and I want you to turn to the other side. In weeks to come, we are looking to have financial literacy training because we can all benefit from knowing better how to spend our funds and how to manage our funds. A lot of us were not taught to budget when we were growing up. We kind of figured it out as we went along, or we're still trying to figure it out. You probably know somebody, maybe you are that somebody who's always broke, always trying to scrape together the last 2 cents, just always in a bind. And we're hoping to have some financial literacy courses, so not just us here in the church, but your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, your cousins, your aunties, your uncles can come and learn better how to be good stewards of the resources God has blessed us with. Now, this is like an introduction to that. I want you to turn to the side that says, tips to help us square up with God each quarter. This is not just about every quarter, though. This is about on a daily, weekly basis. And it's basically telling us how to prioritize the resources that we have. So when you get your income, your first fruits, how do you allocate that? First, take out God's tithe from income. This might be like heavy for some of us. Take out God's tithe from income. The Bible talks a lot about first fruits, and it's really just saying God gets first. God is first. So take out tithes, God's tithe from income. Second, take out a liberal offering. And I know somebody's like saying, wait, where do I come into this picture? How come God is first and then God is second again? Take out a liberal offering. God will increase what you have given, what you have left after you've been faithful to Him. Third, pay your most essential bills, your mortgage, your rent, your electricity. Fourth, save at least 10% of your income or increase. Save at least 10%. Fifth, after you've done all of that, what's left is yours to do what you will with. So make up a realistic budget and stick to it. Make up a realistic budget and stick to it. So if you can't afford to buy lunch for $10 a day, if you can't spend $50 a week on lunch, then cook. Take your lunch to work with you. Make a realistic budget. What I can afford for this week is $20, and $20 will get me 5 meals, 5 lunches per day. Make a realistic budget and adhere to it. 6, reduce unnecessary spending. Okay, reduce unnecessary spending.